Hello, everyone. Welcome to another amazing home studio show and tell. Today, we have two voice actors from opposite ends of the world. And that makes this episode incredibly exciting. And amazingly, the two of them know each other. Let me introduce you to Chloe and Narhan. I'd love to hear just a little bit about each of you. Chloe, tell us just a little bit about who you are, how you came to voiceover, what you do, where we may have heard you. If you can condense that down into 1 minute, that would be amazing. It's a lot, isn't it?
Us voice actor to talk in 1 minute is a hard ask. But yeah, I live in New Zealand. I'm 31 years old. I live in the countryside in this beautiful studio that my dad has helped make. He didn't make the studio bricks, but he made what it's in. I am in many things. I've been in 2024, I've been 168 characters in various different video games and animations and audio dramas and so many corporate things I'm not even going to bother counting, but like I've been very, very blessed this year, and I do it all remotely from my amazing studio in many different accents. I think I do work professionally in about 11 different accents, and not much in my own accent. But yeah, anyway, that's probably well over 1 minute. Yeah, I hope that
That
answered your
was well under 1 minute.
question.
Wow,
Yeah, you
you
couldn't
nailed
finish. That is amazing. Chloe is that's an amazing, impressive number of characters you've done,
it.
and I'm so happy to have you on the this episode. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
And
you.
Nurhan, let's hear
Yeah.
about you.
So my name is Nurhan Magdi. I'm from Egypt, based in Cairo. So I started voiceover right before the pandemic, and since then I've been working as a voiceover since for almost like 4 to 5 years. My background is in journalism. So the first thing I was inspired by was BBC and National Geographic and all the reports that incorporated human voice. And I've seen the power of human voice reflecting the emotions even beyond the scripts that were written. And I felt that this is something that I wanted to do for the whole of my life, but I didn't know how to enter this industry. So when the pandemic hit, I had long time, yeah, the lockdown. So I invested in my invested in my equipment, invested my knowledge, getting knowledge from the professionals in my home country, Egypt, and also workshops online from professionals abroad. And funnily enough, and I'm saying funnily enough because BBC was the beginning of my inspiration. And this year I had the chance to record the main promo for BBC News Arabic, and also nominated for the 2024 Sovis. And a couple of days ago, I knew that the same project received the Gold Award in Gemma Award in UK. So it was amazing for me to see how it started and where I'm positioned now. And last thing I want to say that I have lately invested in my performance and quality of my performance skills. So I joined some acting and improvisation workshops here in Egypt and also in California when I was there during the summer when we first talked, me and David. And I felt that the huge impact that it had on my performance and auditioning and everything, like getting out of your head, which is something that improvisation helps us to do. So I'm grateful that I've taken this step, and yeah, I believe that adding more layers like that pays off at the end. So thank you. That's pretty much me.
Thank you so much for joining us. There
Thank
has to be a special shout out to Nurhan because it is 3 a.m. her time.
you.
That's right, 3 a.m. So, and she's here to show us her studio, to share her knowledge, as Chloe is also. Chloe, just as special to have you, even though it's only 2 p.m., but
Yes.
still amazing to have you here as well. I would like to ask one question I've never asked. Never have I asked this, at least that I recall, on a home studio show and tell. Since you both work in different languages and accents, I'd like to go just a bit further into your background. Let's go in reverse order. Nurhan, what languages and what accents do you mostly work in?
So my native is Egyptian accent, and I also do the formal Arabic, which is the traditional modern standard Arabic, the universal Arabic, and also I do English, which is Middle Eastern English, and also Near American, which is neutral English. So yeah, these are the languages and accents that I do.
And how often are you asked for English, accented English? And what type of accented English do you most get requested for?
Uh, I would say more than 50% of my work.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's great. Chloe, what about yourself? You mentioned 11 accents. What accents are you asked to deliver the most often?
Oh, by far American, by like a long shot. I'd say 80, yeah, I'd say 80% of my work is in an American accent. I'd say 15% is probably a British accent. Then the last sort of 5% is a mixture of my own accent, Australian. I probably work a bit more in Australian than my own accent. Um, and then Scottish, Irish. Again, that sort of that generalized, accent. I could do like a lighter French or a thicker French accent. But yeah, there's this that sort of international one sort of lives everywhere. It could be Italian, it could be French, it could be Hungarian. I do a lot of like Russian characters as well. And yeah. So there's a lot. The Canadian, I've done like a when I was quite brand new 2 years ago. Um, I was on a live session and they thought that I was Australian because I had confessed that I was from New Zealand, and I was like sweating. I was sweating because I thought I know I'm gonna say about, not about, and I know it. I know it. So that was really stressful. And now I'm a lot more like, I'm more comfortable with telling my clients on a live session I'm a New Zealander, but I in the early year, in the first year, I didn't let them know. I just pretended that I was from whatever place. So I've got more confidence in just being able to tell people that I'm a New Zealander. Yeah, hope that answers the question. Yeah.
So, Chloe, when you record, what do you record into? What kind of mic do you have? Or mic
I
plural?
I started on I started on a lapel microphone of all things. It was so
Wow.
embarrassing. I applied to a meditation app because I was working retail two and a half years ago, and one of my sort of workmates said you should read like sleep time meditations, and I was like, okay. So I bought a lapel microphone. Long story short, this sleep time meditation app booked me. And I said, I'm in between microphones, which was, I don't have any microphone. It's just my phone. So I bought a lapel microphone. It was absolutely crap. Then I bought an Audio Technica 2020 USB microphone, which I used for too many months, too long. And then I saved up enough money to buy a Sennheiser, and I've been using the Sennheiser for like the last, yeah, I guess year and a half. But because I do a lot of character work, I was finding it really infuriating, the fact that I was moving around, I was doing like dynamic stuff, and then I would just ruin so much audio because I was moving. So I saved up to get a Neumann, a TLM 103. That I would love to get it in 87, but in New Zealand they cost about $8,000. So I just wanted to get the $4,000 Neumann first. But yeah, it means I can be a lot more dynamic around the microphone and like, bite and hit and punch and do whatever. So yeah.
I can't imagine anyone ever using an Audio Technica 2020. Wait, no, I am. USD. This is. And I'll tell
That's
you, and what's interesting is because I own Edge Studio, we have a lot of microphones and we have some very, very expensive microphones. I started using this at home because both of my sons were narrating audiobooks. And
Mhm.
especially when they're really little, I didn't want them grabbing like a $5,000 microphone. So I went with something like this. I love this. I've had
Yeah.
the best success with this microphone. So I still choose to use it at home, even though my kids are definitely older and don't grab the microphone anymore. Nurhan, what kind of mics do you use?
Actually, I have the same feeling for the my first condenser microphone, which was so I purchased this famous bundle of the Scarlett Focusrite. So I
The
was using
bundle is great.
it is great and affordable and very good quality and decent. And I have never like no one which I any project that I've sent to any client, I haven't received any negative feedback from any sound engineer or anyone on the quality that I have been providing through the Scarlett microphone. And it wasn't even from this booth, from a makeshift place that I've created myself. So I had back like the stand made of steel, the stand that we hang the clothes off. So I have had two of them facing each other's, and I had like four blankets thrown over it, and I had like treated the back of it because it's the side that's facing the microphone with like some padding, like some pillows at the back, and it worked very well. Like it did. I did get the took the best out of the microphone, and I recorded my first TV commercial through this microphone. So I consider this microphone as my success partner, let's say. And then when I at the phase of my when I started upgrading my equipment and getting new equipment, I bought this guy, which is the TLM 102, the Neumann.
Mm-hmm.
Another
Yeah.
one, which is the Rod NT1 fifth generation, which I bought it. I purchased it this year to be like the alternative of the Scarlett as my travel kit, which is what we will get to it later today. So yeah, this guy is a game changer for me. So because Neumann has definitely added a lot of quality, bright and crystal clear to my auditions and even to my recordings. And I would like to say that I have felt that. I felt that this is a guarantee sometimes for clients who ask about the equipment and who prioritize quality, that they are getting good quality from me and good recordings from me because I have Neumann. And also I provide like a test of the room, and also sometimes engage in a test session with the end client that they ask to record on their end, and they are happy, and then we collaborate. So yeah, new Neumann is a great addition to my equipment.
Yeah, Neumanns are quite standard. For those of you who are new to the industry, Neumann has been around for a long time. The U87 was and still is considered one of the top microphones for voice actors and singers. And then some number of years ago, Neumann came out with the TLM 103 and then the 102. Um, Nurhan, can we see the outside of your booth? I've heard you talk about the outside and kind of walking into your room, but I've never seen it. Can you take us outside?
Let's take this out, and yeah, like that, going outside. So this is my room. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the booth from the outside, and
Is
this
that a
is
whisper room?
it's well, it depends on what is the whisper room. So it looks like a whisper room, but what is the whisper room? What does it contain?
Well, a whisper room is a brand, and it does look like a
Oh,
whisper
no,
room.
it's no, so it's not a brand, like we don't have a whisper room in Egypt that to build it for us.
Okay.
So yeah, I got someone to build it for me, an expert who builds home studios. So this is how it looks like. Should I start from the floor first?
Sure.
So the floor is, I've installed wool carpet on the entire floor of the room, and even under the booth. And so here is where I do all the admin stuff, sending emails, CRM, everything, like, related to the admin stuff. And so here, this was a balcony, and I've closed it with a UPVC window. So this is a double glassed. So UPVC material is known to be weather resistant and also soundproofing. So it absorbs most of the unwanted sounds that come from the outside. And I would say that the main street is not right before me. It's maybe like 4 or 5 blocks away. So this makes this room the quietest room in my apartment. I also want to show you this because I've hired a carpenter to build this thing, to where all my extras go here, extra cables, extra microphones, audio interface, and everything. So I save space inside the booth because it's not very wide from the inside. And here's the travel kit, which we'll get back to it later. Yeah, and I'd like to show you this. So this is my whiteboard where my goals for the year goes here, which is not written yet, as you can see. And here are some motivational quotes and messages that it depends on the mood and the status that I'm in. So the messages that I want to address myself, they change, but they stay here forever. So this is the booth from the outside. So I can't say all the materials that were used inside, but I can tell you that it has wood, it has foam, and also it has the rock wool. And it's covered with wool carpet from top to toe. And it is 2 meters 21 tall. Width is 117.5 and depth is 124. Okay. At the back, we can you see that?
The ventilation, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the tube, the fan tube, and it's connected to the back. So I guess this is the electricity circuit that powers this when we plug it here.
Nurhan, your friend could sell these boots. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it
Really
does.
nice.
I
And,
have
and note to everyone, booths of this size generally become extremely hot when you work in them for a while. So it is very normal to add ventilation. The problem with ventilation is fans make noise. And
yes.
so the reason why, I presume the reason why Nurhan's that tube twists a couple of times is because every time your tube makes a 90-degree turn, it cuts the decibels in half. So very
Mm,
often studio owners will take that ventilation tube and they will make it kind of all twisty like
mm,
intestines, which is gross
mm.
to think about. But in doing so, by twisting it and twisting it, it makes the sound softer or lower and lower inside the booth. It also diminishes the amount of power or the ventilation that works, but you have to find that balance of not having sound and getting some air inside. So far this looks amazing. I'm excited to see inside.
Yeah. So this is the door. It's thick, and also this is a double glass. So it's nice that you can, when you are inside, you can see what's outside or who's outside. Eventually, no one is outside, so it's always you inside alone recording in your padded room. Yeah, I love my job. So yeah, so here is, so everything is covered in wool carpet, as I mentioned. And also the ceiling, I have 4 LED lights. This one is not working today, but it's bright and non-noisy. And yeah, I love it.
I just want
So,
to throw one comment out for anyone
sure.
looking to put in lighting to your booth. Go LED because LED bulbs don't get as hot as incandescent bulbs, and that's a great thing, a great reason to go with LED.
Exactly. Yes. We have also the lovely acoustic foam on all the sides except for the door. Actually, I thought of adding more, but I felt that this would add more deadness to the sound inside, but it's always like subject to trial and error. So I would get some, and also I would get some acoustic panels that I will place here, and I will see if it makes any difference. Here is a desk that I had. It's not very wide, but it's also covered in wool carpet because I don't want any like uncovered metal or uncovered surface inside the booth. But it has, like, it does the job. It has my audio interface. This is a stand made of steel, and it has my laptop on it. This is a boom arm, and it's attached to the desk, as you can see. And this is my new addition to the booth, which is the goose neck. And if you don't know the goose neck, it's kind of elastic but firm a stand where you can add your phone or your iPad. And I love it because I love to read from iPads because they are more brighter. They're brighter, and also it has like a bigger size of the script, so I don't have to squeeze my eyes or maximize the side of the script on my iPhone. And yeah, so it makes sense. So yeah, and the chair, it's made of the bamboo, and it has these two puffy fluffy pillows. And yeah, it's comfy, and it works for me. Also, this is the opening of the fan. It makes noise, yes, but I have a trick, like which is, I assume it's my trick, but I know that many people would be doing this on scorching heat waves. So maybe we will get to it later when we, so because I've been talking for ages now, so we'll give Chloe some time to talk as well. But that's, yeah, yeah.
Norhan, keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Your
um,
trick.
okay. So, yeah. What else? What else do you want? Do you
Oh,
want me
yeah.
to tell you the trick?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'm so
Yeah.
anxious to hear. I'm sure we all are.
So, okay. So I usually open the door wide, and then I get my this standing fan, and make sure that it's not facing the microphone, so it doesn't harm the microphone. So it's not directly facing the microphone, so you can get it back, and it's facing the floor, facing the ground, and it spreads. The air spreads here, and then I turn on the AC, and it's this. I keep this on for like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, as long as I can before I start working, and then once I decide that I will be start recording now, I turn them off, and I get into the booth very quickly, and I close the door very quickly, and I get in, and better start off very quickly, because this coolness, the environment that you have created, vanishes very soon. Yes, it does, but it's a bit like, it's how we try to do our job that we love, and yeah, we try to mitigate the environment, but it sometimes, yeah, you sweat up.
You are you are one of many, many thousands of voice actors who go through that, right? You know, you have a anytime you have a long form narration, like an audiobook or a long video or corporate series,
Yeah.
you sweat. It's just what you do.
Yes, 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 exactly. And I really love short breaks. So short breaks are very good. Like, I do stretches, I do go out, get some water. And sometimes, even during the live directed sessions, you find you're not needed. Sometimes you be like the client and maybe the script writer, the director, they are discussing something. They want to change something in the script. They want to discuss something regarding the video, especially if they are speaking in their native language. I have clients in Spain. When they start speaking in Spanish, I know that I'm obviously not needed now. So I would take a breather. I keep, of course, I know I don't ever leave the booth. So whenever they want to call me back, and I open the door, and I take a breather, and I drink water, and I stop talking, save my energy, and that's it. Yeah. It Once I open the door now, like the air flushes into your face. So this is how we, yeah, I would try to do it.
So before we go on, let me ask, let's look at Chloe's booth right now. Chloe, can we see your studio?
Yeah, sure. I'll start from the outside as well, because that is a wonderful place to start. So I'm definitely a work in progress. I'm pretty new in this booth. I haven't got all the, tricks. So, but I'll show you from the outside. So I've just moved back with my parents. I've been living away for 10 years, but I've moved back with mum and dad. So their house is over there. And this is my outlook at the moment. And my dad, bless his sweetheart, he's a plumber, not a builder, but he is building me this beautiful tiny home that I'm sort of designing it, and he's building it. And so he has custom built. We put our heads together, and my dad's custom built this whole thing. If you guys can see. So it is elevated about a meter off the ground, which is like 3 feet, I think, for you guys.
Hey, Chloe, before you go on,
Yeah.
is there a way to hold the camera a bit more steady? It's
Totally. Let me
okay.
turn it around, if I can figure out how to turn it around. There we go. Let's see
Oh
if that
yeah, that looks great. Yeah, thank you.
cool. So, yeah, so that's the tiny home. And then this is the booth. Um, and what else? My mat. I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, so it says speak friend and enter. And my mum grows hydrangeas and roses, so I like to just make me feel it. These have been with me for 25 years, so I think every little booth needs a mascot. My uniform, which is just a bathrobe, it's my work uniform. I've got some business cards there, and unlike Nordhan, so this is my cable drawer. This is sort of my extras and things, and I've got sort of lots of other business cardy things. I've been so cheeky. It's a bit ridiculous actually, but I got like a beanie made. Some merch. I know it's like so OTT. It's so OTT.
Chloe,
Um,
a studio question though. Do you do your editing on this table right here on this desk?
I do my admin. I don't do my editing unless, yeah. The great thing is with Apple, my computer in the booth speaks to this. So whatever's saved on the cloud, if I save a big file, I can actually edit it here. But I prefer the bigger keyboard and stuff. But I do all my emailing and all my communications and all my other stuff sort of on this computer, because I do get breeze coming in and like good airflow. Yeah. And my chairs, I've got two of these sort of office chairs that are, I don't know what they are. They're like it's called boot clay. So it's a nice texture and some Mongolian lamb cushions on top of them. And so this is a studio bricks, beautiful thing that it is. Double glazed, all, yeah, like Nordhan, all this is double glazed as well. This little guy is a character that I play on a TV show. um, Princess Ruby from the Rainbow Corns. um, and yeah, just I guess it's a reasonably standard voiceover sort of studio bricks. Again, we've got some LED light up there. Not that I ever use that actually, but I just put on my little thing that I got made on Temu, that I saw another voice actor she got. So yeah, um, another office chair here, a little fan that again, it's really quiet, but it doesn't often give me enough coolness that I'm desperately craving.
But wait, before you go on. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this particular fan looks to be the Studio Bricks fan.
It is the
And
Studio Bricks
and
fan, yeah.
a lot of voice actors on the show have talked about how loud or what level they can go to. I've heard some say level 2, some say level 3.
Mhm.
What can you get to without it interrupting your recording?
Yeah, I say a level two.
Okay.
I don't actually put it on when I'm recording. I just sort of put it on whenever I've stopped recording. um, but yeah, because this little guy is so picky, so picky, I don't even risk it. I think with my Sennheiser, usually I've got my Sennheiser attached over here, and that is a little bit better, because it's more directional, so I can get away with like other sounds. But yeah, with when I'm using this, which is most of the time, I don't risk putting on the fan. Yeah. But I've got the Neumann attached to the Studio Bricks arm, and I've got a Neumann, sorry, not a Neumann, a Sennheiser usually attached to the Rode arm. Um, and I used to just stand up, but I was getting really swollen feet after doing that for like, 12, 14 hours a day, just standing up, without many breaks. So I have caved. I've caved and I've got a chair, and it feels a bit like I don't do that for all of them, certainly not for all my character stuff, but yeah. And
Does your
yeah.
desk go up and down?
Uh no, it doesn't actually. I did ask the studio guy Bricks about that, but it's just sort of set in place. I think I could have said where I want it, but I'm just like set it up at this wherever you want it, wherever it usually goes. And I'm really happy with its sort of positioning right now. But the great thing about this arm is that, yeah, I can just put it up, do my thing, do my characters, and then sit down and do all my editing. And I've got, yeah, like all my little trackpad, which I mainly use, and I have a Universal Audio Solo, Apollo Solo, which is a beast. It's a beast. It's like it's taken me a lot of time to figure out, but I do love it. A friend set me up with it, so it's very it's more smart than me. I'm sure it's smarter than me. It's really technical. And yes,
So
I don't.
So here's a question. I want to pick up some of the questions in the chat. Someone is asking what plugins you use. Let's take that up one step. What DAW and what plugins? And then Norhan, I'd like to hear from you the same question.
So that's a really so my friend Mike Saporkin, he is a voice actor as well as an audio engineer, and he set me up with many plugins. I can't even remember what they are, but I already own Isotope RX10 bundle, and I mainly obviously everyone sort of swears by the mouth declicker, and I mainly just use that. But Mike Saporkin, bless his sweetheart, he set me up with. I just press one button and he's got this whole thing that cleans up some of the background noise, and it takes away mouth stuff. It does a bit of EQ and compression. So whatever he's done is amazing.
So what DAW?
Adobe Audition. I have been using Audacity, but in July this year, he switched me over to Adobe Audition, so it's much better. Oh my gosh, it's much better. It's just a lot more faster, a lot more responsive. I feel like the quality of sound is better. And I don't know if that's like just a me thing, but I feel like this is just me. I feel like a DAW does actually affect the sound. I've apparently it doesn't, but to me it does. So I feel like, yeah. I do have to say, I've been using a DIY booth that my dad made for the last 2.5 years that I've been doing this full time, and it had the most incredible sound. It looked pretty ugly, but it had incredible sound. So I've been in this now for like maybe 3 weeks or so, and the the it's a different sound. It feels a little more hollow in here. Maybe there's more room to move. I know that there's like the big sort of double glazed glass door here in the studio bricks, but it feels like there's more echoey type, slight echoey sounds now. My previous booth was like dead. So now I have to do a little bit more cleanup on in post production sort of thing. So yeah, I will say that. That I said to my dad, like, Dad, you made a sound quality that was even bit better than Studio Bricks, even though I love Studio Bricks. And yeah. But
Is your studio brick single or double or triple wall?
it is double wall, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, it looks great. It really does. I want to jump over to Norhan for a second, but when we come back to you, Chloe, I'd like you to tell us what's behind you on the ceiling. If it's just
Oh,
yeah, what that is. So we can talk about that in a moment. But Norhan,
this was my question to her, actually. Yeah. I assume it's an AC, but let's figure out.
is it that or bass traps?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's hear. But first, Norhan, what about you? What's your DAW? What plugins? What
Um,
and remote software? How do you connect to with your clients?
so I usually connect through Source Connect or Session Link Pro, and they have the final thing on their end, and I send the backup just in case.
Okay.
Um, and usually when I send a backup, it's always raw, so I don't add any processes or editing plugins onto the audio file. That's their request. When I added on Adobe Audition as a beginner in the beginning, like the first 1.5 years maybe. I used Audacity. It was very easy and simple. So, and then I upgraded to Adobe Audition, and it's much better. I agree with Chloe. yes, it does have more flexibility. It offers more flexibility and control on the editing process. So I add like very light editing when I do the editing myself. So I add compression, equalizer, I do normalize, I do very light denoise because I don't want to cut out much of the frequencies. And I feel this fits after I build this booth. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Someone just asked, Terry, you just asked Norhan, what
Yeah.
connection service are you using? She just mentioned Source Connect and Session Link Pro.
And I didn't mention that my audio interface is Audient ID4.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and the cans now is Audio Technica. And before that, I was using the Pierre Dynamic DT 770 250 ohm, and it was working very well. But because for some reason it needed something to drive it up, so a preamp. So because it was 250 ohm, so I purchased a preamp which was HP4 Sonos, I guess, and I connected it and it was working very well. And then I started hearing some static noise. So I was advised that this might be because you're injecting more power into the devices. So I removed the Pierre Dynamic and also disconnected the preamp, and I replaced that with the Audio Technica, which is very great. Yeah, and it's doing the job. Yeah, I love it.
That's great. Okay, Chloe. Chloe, quick question before we talk about what's over you. How do you connect remotely?
I well, my American clients don't really use Session Link Pro, but I prefer Session Link Pro, especially because you've got the video and you can like match it. You can match it to the video. So American clients mainly want to use Source Connect, but because now more and more, often I'm not. There's fewer middlemen, so they don't necessarily have a studio to do that with. I'm just often directly with the client sometimes or something like that, so they don't want to hire necessarily, a studio. So we don't do source connect sessions. I set up a zoom with them, and then send over the files to them straight away, so they've got their audio engineer who can do it from, maybe everyone's working remotely, so they've got, remote people all over. So I love Source Connect sessions. They freaked me out in the beginning for some reason. Just the technology of Source Connect feels quite like, it felt very clunky to me. But now I really like them because I don't have to do so much of the work. All I have to do is show up, act, do my thing, and then walk away. But yeah, I'm more au fait and sort of more confident now with anything. I don't like Teams and I don't really like Google Meet. Google Meet really does something to my Adobe Audition. It just screws things up. It makes me go really, really quiet. And I had a job with Warframe recently, and like it was embarrassing because I was like, I'm trying to turn my gain up, but Google Meets is not letting me turn my gain up, and it was just crazy. But so anyway, there's lots of technological learning curves for sure. But yeah, mostly Zoom, mostly Zoom. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
So what's
this is
over you?
it's a bass trap. You're so right. It's a bass trap. I wish it was an AC unit.
Oh,
I wish it was. The good thing about New Zealand, unlike Egypt, we're quite a temperate country. We're kind of like Hawaii and Canada sort of combined. We're an island, but we're quite cool, and we're close to Antarctica, but we don't really ever get either too hot or too cold. But yeah, occasionally it'll get really flippin' hot, especially if I'm doing a pretty intense character. But yeah, I mm.
So I want you to know, Chloe, that someone just wrote in the chat, Google Meets messes up my sessions as well. You're not
Ah,
alone.
ah,
Yeah.
thank goodness. I thought, gosh, I must be doing, maybe I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, it was very dodgy. And I think because I'm a Mac user, it doesn't mesh well with Teams. Teams has a real hate relationship with Mac. Anything sort of Windows oriented. So often I have to do a lot of diplomacy to my clients to just say, um, Could I know Teams works better with your organization, but um if you want like a really good sound quality, and to kind of, make sure we're all on the same page, I'd love to send you a Zoom link. Um, and so yeah, diplomacy always.
No doubt. Uh, let's go back over to you, Norhan.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is the most interesting? Oh, I have a fun question. The most interesting project that required the most tech you've had in your studio? Was there a session that it was, technologically speaking, it was difficult to set up, like Chloe's talking about with Teams, kind of, or Google Meets messing her up? Have you had any sessions that come across that are just really tough to kind of get going?
Um, I haven't encountered such a problem actually regarding the technical connection or a project itself that was difficult. So you mean that the connection was difficult? Maybe some softwares that were not working well?
Yeah, either software wasn't working or you had a request from a client and it was difficult to achieve. So, for example,
Mm.
let's say Norhan, if you are working on a Zoom session and you record, or a Source Connector Session Link Pro, you record and the client says, "Can we hear that back? Do you have playback?" That's
Uh,
hard for studios. That's very hard for a lot of studios.
I do playback. I do the playback for that.
Amazing.
Yeah. On Zoom, it's difficult for some reason. I think there is a step that I need to understand to do to be able to play back on Zoom. But on the other uh, softwares which are created for this purpose, like Session Link Pro and Source Connect, I've been asked many times because sometimes some lines that we record, they have like a glitch or something on their end. So they hear my backup and they see that it was clean. So yeah, we mark it and then I send it to them so they replace it. So yeah, I can play back so they can hear that it's good or not. Yeah. So this is the case.
When you're working in Session Link Pro, do you ever lip sync?
I haven't had any lip sync projects online, like in a live directed session so far. No.
What about, have you ever worked with another voice actor somewhere else in the world?
With voiceovers,
Mhm.
yes. I've actually I have directed myself being a voice director of a session for FIFA. It was the reveal of the trophy, and there was another voice talent, an Arabic voice talent, who was attending the session and recording, and I was directing him. So yeah, this is how we met. And there was a client and the sound engineer, and yeah, this is how we yeah, and of course I did work with voiceovers inside Egypt, who are also happen to be agents sometimes, and also I had a really lovely collaboration with someone in Africa. So yeah,
Very fun.
yeah.
Chloe, what about you? So when you're
Oh,
working in Session Link Pro, with all the character work you do and video game work you do, are you lip syncing and or are you working with other voice actors at the same time?
Um, so, well, yeah, I don't, my, lots of my German and European clients mainly use Session Link Pro. But a lot of the time they just want me to do self-directed. I do usually push for like, I'm like, I'd love a live directed session. Often they're like, no, we trust you, go ahead and do it, sort of thing. So Source Connect and Session Link Pro, I don't get a huge amount of them. I'd say that's probably 10% of the time. And I haven't done not much like lip syncing dubbing work comes my way just yet. I think usually they still want people to be in LA or in a major city like London for that kind of thing. I did have one on Session Link Pro, a lip sync thing, which yeah, it was so short. It was fine. If it had been longer, I probably would have run into challenges. But it was literally like 3 sentences, so um, it was fine. But like in your question that you asked, Nordhan, like those technical things, I am I was a total technophobe, like maybe many voice actors are. I think some of us come in with no frame of reference for technology, and some people come in from the tech field and they come into it. But I definitely came from like drama school 10 years ago, and I did do a 3-year bachelor of filmmaking, and we had to do like film editing. And before class, I would cry and cry. This was like 6 years ago. I was in my like mid to late 20s, and I was like crying. And I realized I'm so glad I went through the pain of editing that stuff on like Pro Tools or whatever it was, um, to get to like understand a little bit more about this. But the technology side has been one of the most daunting sides. And for that, like the Warframe job that I did a couple of months ago, that was probably the most difficult technology wise. We were doing Source Connect, but they also wanted to like see me on Google, which I always love. You can just direct an actor, I feel, better when you see them and what they're doing. So I love seeing my clients face to face. So we were seeing each other on Google Meets, but we were also doing Source Connect, and we had like an echo sort of loop going on. And so they had to like these poor clients had to like say, okay, well, first of all, like go off Safari, hop back on Google Chrome, and then go onto the Google Meets. Then you're going to have to like go into settings and click like mute or something. Oh, no, it wasn't a mute. It was something more technical than that. And so it took a whole function off the browser. So I they could hear me on Source Connect without this feedback loop because I'd already muted myself on Google Meets anyway. It was really technical, and that was probably and it was a character that had to do that was when it all crunched my audio and I was so quiet and they couldn't hear me, and I had to do like whispering and shouting, and it was a very emotionally intense character. She was screaming for her children, and it was tricky. It was tricky being present for this character, to be really emotionally right there, and to not be worrying about the Source Connect or this or that, or like. And I was really worried, like, oh no, they're gonna think that I'm unprofessional. They probably like I should know better. I should know how to use Source Connect way better than this. And so that kind of, yeah, with actors you have the actor brain, and then you have like the character brain, and you kind of have to like marry it all up with those things, and give like a rock solid amazing performance to a huge company like Warframe, and a Russian accent and blah 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 blah. So that you learn to be like a juggler, and being calm and just serene, and just going with the flow.
That
Yeah.
you've really pinpointed it. Being calm is so key. And like, look, I'm not a voice actor, I'm the director. And when voice actors are calm, I always feel good. And as soon
Mm,
as a voice actor loses it, they become nervous or they're showing that they're nervous. I always think, uh-oh, it's an uphill battle at that point. I
mm,
Someone posted an interesting question about your travel kit. And Norhan, you had mentioned your travel kit. I'd like to learn more about that in a moment. I just want to the person asking about that travel kit, they part of their question is if they can work in a closet. And I will tell you that we have an amazing episode of Home Studio Show and Tell. I'm going to give you the episode number. In fact, let me just share my screen and tell you where to go to watch this because we're down to the last few minutes here. I'm going to share my screen for a moment. This is the past episodes of Home Studio Show and Tell. It is this episode where my cursor is moving,
mm,
episode 13. This is a married couple who, along with their kids, all live in the house and all are full-time voice actors, 4 of
mm,
them. Well, they gave a tour of their studio at one point, and I believe it's at 25 and a half minutes. I just happened to see this the other day.
mm,
25 minutes and 30 seconds into the episode, I said, "How do 4 of you use the studio? One microphone, do you fight over it?" And they said, "We have Studio B, which is a closet studio." And it's terrific how what they did in this closet studio. They left all the clothing and pillows. So to the person who asked that question, watch episode 13, Go about 25 minutes and 30 seconds into that episode, and you'll see a great rendition of how to make a studio out of a closet. I just want to see if oh,
Regarding replicate, should I mention the? I have something to say. So when you ask about the closet, so when I traveled to my sister in California, she amazingly she thankfully she gives me half of her closet, where the floor is covered with carpet and the half of the walls are padded, and I also add some pillows inside, and I set up my equipment inside, and it stays there until the last day of the trip. Also, when I go to hotels, I take the same kit, which I would like to show it now assembled here
yes.
for you. So this is a blog post that I've written on how to plan your vacation as a voiceover artist, and this is this is me. This is my picture, if you can see that. So this is my picture inside a closet in a hotel room in LA. So here I'm sitting on a chair, which is resembling the chair that we take for the beach. So a beach chair. It was inside the closet. And here, you can see that this is the safe. And I
Oh,
place,
yeah. Great.
yeah, I place my laptop and the Scarlett Solo audio interface. And this is a tripod. It's called Benro. And it's made of aluminum. It's strong, and this the goes up the microphone, which is Scarlett when I was using it, and the pop filter. And from the outside, this looks like from the outside. So it's the door of the closet is opened wide, and two blankets. So it was two queen bedroom. So I took the two blankets and I threw them over, and this quietly like it's absorbed the sound bounce inside. And even if you can see, the floor is covered with carpet, and this room was very quiet, so it helped a lot and it worked very well. And I sent the project at the end, and everything was good. One thing I wanted to say regarding the tripod, so for people who prefer not to take check-in baggage, they prefer the carry-on and also the backpack. This guy will never fit in the carry-on. It will need like a big suitcase. So in this case, you might be needing to purchase like a smaller one, a compact one, but make sure that it's sturdy and strong as well to protect your equipment. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to see it outside, I thought like if you can see it assembled, because we're running out of time. Yeah, if you have any question regarding this.
Yeah, that's great. It is very common for voice actors to have a travel kit.
Yeah.
And like
Mm,
you said, like with a mini tripod and a smaller mic or something, yeah, it's
Yeah.
mm.
I do have also a very mini microphone that's Rod. Let me get it back here quickly.
okay. And while you get that, we are really out of time. So let's take, let me see if there's one or two quick questions I can ask here. Someone's asking about the blankets. That's a statement. Yeah, so let's see your mini microphone while I look for one last question, Norhan.
So here is this is Video Mic Me. This I
Oh,
attached to the I have two of them. So one with this lightning, and this is USB-C. So this is attached to the phone because I usually like to do auditions on a microphone. So the quality of this one is very good. So whenever I go for like local trips for 3 or 4 days here in Egypt, I take this with me. I attach it to the phone and I do the recording, like the audition, and I know that the final recording will be recorded at a studio, an external one, if I have time for that, or when I get back home. So yeah.
that looks like Chloe's seat.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we are at the end of the hour.
Yeah.
I love seeing both of your studios. This is so much fun. Chloe, thank you so much. Narhan, thank you so much. Can each of you just say one quick thing? Do you want to, I don't know, anything you want to throw in our last moment? Chloe?
Yeah, gosh, well, in answer to Terry's question around like self-direction, I think both. It's like both self-directed and live directed are so valuable. And we're isolated in these little sort of chambers, but for me, this is called the TARDIS, This is my TARDIS because it's bigger on the inside. It takes me to different lands. Like at the moment, I'm probably in many different places in America. I'm in Egypt. Like this is like it's not a little booth for me. It's a time travel machine to another world. Like I'm in the future, but I'm in your future, you're in my past. So yeah, some people think, oh, you work in little black boxes all on your own. I'm like, I'm not. I definitely don't feel like an isolated person. I don't think I've ever been more social in my life because there's so many. And the voiceover community, Terry, absolutely. Like, I feel like I've got family and brothers and sisters all around the world who I deeply love and who love me and value me. And the love in this community is unlike anything I've experienced. And I'm so grateful, so grateful to be in this dream job with you guys. And I will be coming to VoiceOver Atlanta. So if I see any of you there, let me know. And I will be coming with my travel setup into the Hilton as well. So yeah, thank you. And it's awesome. Thank you for being here. And it's wonderful to be here with Nurhan, another female full-time voice actress from across the globe. And yeah, that's just a great privilege.
No, Chloe, thank you so much. That was amazing what you just said. Narhan, what about you? Any last comments?
First, thank you so much, Chloe, for saying that about the powerful of community of the voiceover. It really supports and it helps a lot being relevant and doing the same job that others doing. I would like to say that speaking about my previous setting before having a booth, I'd like to say that having a microphone and having the knowledge to how to mitigate the environment to get the best out of your microphone, this is something that you can do. If I can do it, you can do it. So I'd like to know that this is a prolonged process. So I'll keep changing. I'll keep installing and uninstalling things to get the best out of my equipment. Last thing, I thank you so much for having me today, and I'm really excited to be with Chloe. And I loved her booth. Really, really loved your equipment, and thank you so much for everyone who's joining now. And yeah, I hope it was a benefit for you.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
it's a benefit for anyone who watches this video, Norhan and Chloe. It's amazing.
mm.
You
Thank you.
two, everyone should know, anyone who watches this video should know that Norhan and Chloe are volunteering their time to share their knowledge, to share their expertise with you, to share with each other in the community. And so a huge shout out to both of you. Thank you so much. You both are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you, Dave.
We will post this on our website. And I wish you both well. I wish everyone out there well. Thank you so much. This has been another home studio show and tell. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.